Hello everybody, it's Eric Freeze, and today we're going to repair this clock, which is from my childhood. I remember this clock as far back as I could remember, even though it's not as old as me. I do remember this always constantly being over here at my grandma's house, and it's definitely seen better days. So I'm going to attempt to restore this back to its former glory. For as long as I could remember, these pegs here, which are supposed to be attached to this mount, were broken off. But they've been broken off for as long as I could remember. And the battery compartment on this is shattered, so when the battery is in here, it doesn't stay held in. So I'm going to have to attempt to make something that will keep the battery from falling out, much like your standard battery compartment on a better clock. I also have a battery compartment here, and I'm honestly thinking of possibly using this. Maybe, I'm not. But we're going to try to build some sort of plastic contraption in there to keep the battery from falling down back into the clock. So currently I'm up to a really big challenge here. So we have the battery compartment here. Now the bottom is broken off the battery compartment as well as both sides. So these battery contacts, there's not much play to them. Now I was going to put this rubber piece here, and actually I was going to put a series of rubber pieces here, which that will keep the battery from falling down into the clock. But I also am going to have to worry about both sides. So my second plan to this is possibly, what if filling this whole thing here with like a paper substance, like cardboard maybe a plastic bag, maybe paper. So I'm gonna get a little creative. I think I'm gonna take some tissues, and we're gonna try to put some tissues along there. I'm also going to maybe have bits of hot glue in here as well. I have my hot glue gun here ready. I was expecting using it a bit more. I was also experimenting with these plastic pieces before, and this was actually one of those plug protectors that you put on a polarized plug, and that was actually going to work pretty well, but it didn't, so off to the garbage. I'll have to clean that up. But yeah, now I'm also going to wipe down this base because it's quite dirty. This is actually came out, we got this in 2009 because this is from our local high school. It was something my aunt had when she graduated high school, so that's interesting, I guess. So yeah. The interesting thing is, around 2009, I still had some pretty decent memories, and yet, I didn't really remember. Well, actually, I do remember being here around 2009 and seeing this clock here. So I'm pretty sure my aunt, she probably left this here and she moved out to college, and this clock just stayed here. Because this room I'm in currently right now, my bedroom, this used to be my aunt's room when I used to live somewhere else. So yeah, and I already put my real name on there and the date. So if I do successfully restore this, there will be proof that I did restore this. So yeah, so I'm gonna continue working on the insides of this clock, and I'll see what I can do. So I'm back with this clock, and I have actually put it back together somewhat successfully. So I'm actually using tissue as more of a filling, and I plan to add on with this filling with a bit of hot glue. But this is just a bunch of tissue that's held in here. So I'm going to go along the edge of this with probably like a pocket knife a bit later, which should hopefully clean up a lot of this. So that's what I'm working on, and all of this is held on there really good. So I'm going to get to working on getting the battery fixed. So we're back with our next update on fixing this clock here. So I have gotten the screws put back, and it's a bit bulging here on the back from the foam. Now there's supposed to be a battery cover. I didn't get a battery cover with this, unless if there is one that I'm not aware of. I'll have to see if there is a battery cover for this. I think we actually have one. But, this foam padding here, I'm going to put, not foam padding, the tissue. I'm going to put some hot glue in there to kind of stabilize it. So I'll put hot glue on this end, hot glue on the other end, and that's going to be working very much for this part. Then we'll work on putting the hands back on to the clock, and then putting the face cover on. And then last thing I think we're going to do is working on these little studs. These studs were actually molded on, and you can see here where they actually used to remain solid here on this base here. Oh, I think I got the wrong side. So that's how those are supposed to work. So I'm going to just probably glue them on to this base like how they would have originally been from the factory, but because all I remember was them actually sliding around like this. So we're going to try to repair it the right way, hopefully. So we'll be back. We'll check back with you a bit later. So we've made a lot of progress. Actually, I've stopped filming for like 10 minutes, but I got the hands back on the clock. Battery compartment, I had a bit of issues with this, so that happened. It turns out we did have a battery cover for it, but we don't know where it is. Because I remember there was one on here, I just can't find it. I may have accidentally trashed it. I don't feel like digging through my garbage can, but I may dig through it again a few more times. I already did once, in hopes that I actually find a battery cover for this, because I'd like to see if I get the battery cover for this thing. And I know it's not really a big deal because it's a cheap made in China clock, and honestly this is almost gonna go in the garbage, and I was gonna put another Chinese clock there in its place. But I like the memories behind this thing, and I think I will try to get this thing working. So we'll see what I can do next. I'm gonna clean off the base now, and then we're gonna hot glue these things onto here. So this is gonna be the final video of this. It is fully put back together and working, just like how it was when it was new. Kind of. With the exception of the battery cover missing, and it having a lot more hot glue, which probably has increased its weight. But it's back together. So yeah. We'll do a quick demonstration of the alarm. If I can, it won't stop turning. So the alarm does still work on this. In fact, there's still strands of hot glue from when I glued it onto the base. I'm really messy with hot glue. I don't know how to control it. But yeah, works. I'll set the time on it, and we'll be back shortly. The clock is now set to 9:32, which is nice. Let me adjust the alarm, so just in case if someone happens to set it off for whatever reason, it's at a reasonable time. So I'll set it to somewhere around 7. So if the alarm goes off at 7 o'clock in the morning, no big deal, because people in this house are normally awake by then. Or if it goes off at 7 o'clock p.m., which also a lot of people in my house are awake by then. So I find that to be a reasonable time to set it. I'm gonna try to remove whatever in the heck remnants of hot glue stuck into my carpet. But yeah, this repair restoration thing on this little clock is successful. I really enjoyed working on this project for once, mostly because I didn't have, even though I was dealing with cheap plastic, I didn't really have anything break on me, unlike some other things I've worked on. So yeah, maybe I'll consider working on a bit more of these cheaper clocks now. Because everyone always needs a clock. So, thank you very much for watching, and keep the breeze.